What's up, Dragon Brood? Today, I was thinking about Secret Lair, and I don't think most people realize it's been almost 4.5 years since the first Secret Lair came out in December of 2019, I believe, which is kind of crazy, right? It's been a while, and I wanted to just kind of do a quick little short retrospective look on has it really been worth it? Now, the first thing is some people are like, yeah, I hate Secret Lairs, right? All the way back from the beginning, some people have a problem with them. The first one with Bitter Blossom Dreams kind of put us in a weird spot because we didn't know what to expect from Secret Lairs, right? It was this really cool piece of Bitter Blossom art on a new card, and for a card that hadn't really been reprinted much to that point, and some tokens to go with it. We also got Eldraine Wonderland, which was a variety of different basics, which, while nice, were still just basic lands. Now, Restless in Peace was nice, but it really was just 3 cards. Bloodghast being a solid choice, and Life from the Loam, which was very playable, but then also like Golgari Thug. So we didn't know what to expect from these at this point. Oh, and let's not forget Seeing Visions, which was just a collection of serum visions with a variety of different art. So, some of these early offerings left us kind of confused. We didn't really know what Secret Lair was going to be. Was it the goal to reprint a bunch of cards that hadn't been reprinted in a while? Is it just to feature some artists doing different artwork? Maybe put different styles of stuff on cards we couldn't get otherwise? And then, as it turns out, it was a little bit of all those things over the years, which, for better or worse, has seemed to work out so far. But then we had that, we'll call it a blip that people didn't really care for. And I'm talking about The Walking Dead. Now, this was the first time we were getting cards in Secret Lair form that hadn't been printed anywhere else. Like, these were original cards, and this was the only way to get them. And that didn't sit too well with players. And kind of rightfully so, because it's the first time in forever we had to chase down cards, really outside of like booster packs or something that was readily available. Now, Wizards of the Coast did go and kind of rectify that situation and said, hey, if we do this again in the future, we'll make a Universes Within that allows them to print those cards with some magic variation artwork or whatever. And now that those come out about 6 months after the actual Secret Lairs release, anytime we do that, it's actually not too bad. Oh, and then there's the other thing that gets forgotten about sometimes is there have been inserts in Secret Lairs, almost like a subset that you get inserted whenever you buy these. And we've had everything from stained glass planeswalkers, which were pretty popular for a while. Also, some slivers that you could get in foil, so if you wanted to add these variants to your sliver decks, that was kind of neat. We even had, I don't know what we called them, like the architecture artifacts or whatever, and those were really cool looking. And they were nice incentive to go ahead and buy these Secret Lairs. You were getting some extra value on top of everything else. There's also been like this underlying thing I wanted to hit on, being a former game store retailer, that there's been an argument that Secret Lair is taking money away from the local game stores. And I don't know if that's particularly true. And people who've been around for a while in the industry that I still talk to regularly sort of feel the same way. Like, players aren't necessarily buying a lot of Secret Lairs. Maybe one or two throughout the year as they find one they like, or it speaks to them in some way, or maybe they play a deck and want that variant of that particular card. But that's not pulling a lot of really what I would call resources or sales out of the game store economy. And honestly, the other half of it is we're putting out a lot of Secret Lairs. Most stores would not be well financed enough to be able to purchase enough of these Secret Lairs. Additionally, a lot of these would not be worth that much if they were sent to retailers and were extremely plentiful. So it comes with its own kind of, I guess, levers you need to pull to make it work out correctly. But I will say, Wizard seems to at least be experimenting with the idea of sending stuff to their WPN stores in the form of Secret Lairs. We've had some like the April Fool's one that came out and people got a chance to get a Stormcrow, which was kind of funny. And we have some that I guess you're going to be able to order that haven't reached retailers yet. Like the Calling All Hydras that have some really wild, colorful, almost psychedelic art. Hydras tend to be pretty popular, so this could be a good one to send to retailers as a, I don't know, another test of what can actually move in that part of the market. Now, could Wizards still do more to make this program work with retailers? I think so, but I'm glad we're at least still going down the road and trying to find ways to make this work. Though according to the website, stores in Latin America and APAC, excluding Japan, are still going to have issues getting these, so that's a hurdle to still be crossed later. But to date, there have been a lot of Secret Lair drops. You're talking 231, that's a lot. So the question to me starts to come down to, what has that done for the quality of reprints and the prices for those? Going all the way back to the beginning with Bitter Blossom, this card actually has held its price pretty well. It hasn't gotten out of control, but this is a weird one because we've also reprinted Bitter Blossom multiple times since this has come out in Secret Lair. In looking at Inkmoth Nexus, which I believe came from one of the artist series, Secret Lairs, you'll see that kind of the price still stays slightly above the original printed version. So these actually have become reasonable investments over the years because the cards have held their price or even increased a bit since their initial release, which is kind of interesting because you would think they wouldn't be worth all that much, but I think as time goes by and they become a bit of a rarity, the price seems to be holding. And when you're looking at the non-foil versions of a lot of things, that's actually pretty significant because most of the non-foil Secret Lairs are in the $29.99 range. So if you have a card that's playable and rare or mythic that gets printed there, a lot of times you're looking at something that's already going to be $20 plus, making up the majority, or sometimes even more than the value of the actual Secret Lair you're purchasing. And again, this doesn't account for the random inserted cards that you get in there that tend to have a significant value of their own. Another thing we've seen over the years is that there are Secret Lairs for special occasions to celebrate different movements, things like that. And we got a Secret Lair Black is Magic, so you see here that the Teferi is at roughly $23 to $25. And these tend to also run in the $39 range, even for the non-foil versions, but the collection of cards tends to be better. So it's almost like you can keep your eyes out for these, and you'll probably do pretty well purchasing them because the prices tend to be a little bit higher as there's more playables in these. In addition to that Teferi, that same set also came with a $10 Soul Ring, a $10 Ponder, which is really good value there, a $10 Shalai, and 3 more cards. You even got fun releases like this Extra Life set that you got 2 variants of Craterhoof Behemoth, and both of those still go for over $25. Also, random side note, the D&D Honor Among Thieves, which was technically still Universes Beyond because it's not a Magic World thing, yeah, those are all worth money too. That's actually been one of the better value Secret Lairs. Interestingly, in case you just didn't know. We've even had 3 Commander decks for Secret Lair released, and honestly, you're going to have trouble finding those for under $200 right now. Which is pretty wild considering each of those I believe was available for like $150 or less at the time of release. So yeah, not a bad investment. But ultimately, that's a lot to take in. I mean, you're talking, tons of different products, both regular and foil, every variety of setup for those products where you're talking about Commander decks, Universes Beyond things, regular reprints. And we still have to answer, has it been good or bad? Honestly, I think overall, good. I mean, we've reprinted a bunch of cards, which has kept the price down on some of the original printings if you needed them for your decks, whether that be 60 card or Commander, which is a positive, but we still have collector's items, so if you do like the chase of having one of everything or whatever, that's still an option for you. And as we've done more and more reprints with Magic, Secret Lairs oddly have turned out to be some of the better long-term investments. Now, obviously, there's still a few duds in there, don't get me wrong, but as I mentioned earlier, almost anywhere that the cards have been playable in the Secret Lairs, you've usually come out on the good side more often than not. But while we're here, what are some things I would like to see in Secret Lair going forward? I would like to start with, let's have a consistent number in the Secret Lairs. We've had some that were 4, 5, 7, and I think there was 1 or 2 that had more than that. And it just becomes weird to try to decide as a buyer, why is this one worth $30 with 4 cards and this one also worth $30 with 7 cards? I say, let's just put 5, so there's like some level of consistency between them. Let's try to make sure that every card being printed is at least somewhat played in a format that's popular. I mean, it's weird when you see a reprint that nobody really wants or needs or was ever even asking for, because it doesn't even get played in Pauper. That's a little bit of a weird feel bad when you're spending $30 to $50 to get something that really doesn't have a home. And for that matter, you probably can't even trade it to anybody. It'll also make the secret layers not feel so bad when you see a $30 secret layer that's propped up by a $25 card, and then the other 3 or 4 with it are all like a buck each. I think that's a much better feel, other than just going like, well, I'm buying it for this one thing and not so much the other things. I think continuing with the inserts for the little bit of extra value is actually pretty nice. I would just like to see that better promoted. It's been kind of strange when we've gotten different inserts and you kind of just have to see them pop up online and nobody knows what they are, how much they're worth, how many of them they're supposed to be. Is there a sequence of things? Is it something that's going to be just for this secret layer drop, or will it be continued throughout the next 3 or 4 months? Some level of clarity so people at least know what they're chasing down would be pretty good, but I think it's part of the program that should at least continue. And with all that being said, I know there's going to be some of you that still just don't like Secret Lair, and that's fine. I'm not looking for you in the comments. I understand we're all going to have our feelings on different products that come out every which way. What I do want to hear, though, is what would you like to see in Secret Lairs? If you already like them as a product or a program, what would you like to see them continue or add to it so it keeps your interest? And if you're not interested in Secret Lair, other than just not do it, what could they do to actually make it interesting for you? Because I think that's an interesting discussion to be had as well. Like, if you don't like it, could they entice you to like it? Probably not, but I'm curious. You never know. I will say this though, seeing as how the recent secret lairs like Fallout and the Hatsune Miku, why is that so hard to say? Y'all know what I'm talking about. But those recent secret lairs sold out so fast that there's no reason they're not going to continue to do this. Like, we're going to see more secret lairs for years to come, so it's just going to have to be part of our world or ecosystem within Magic that we're just going to have to live with. So that's why I want to have these conversations. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like in the beginning, I wasn't really sure how I thought secret lairs were going to go. But at this point, I think I'm kind of on board, and some of them been kind of sweet. But it was fun to kind of walk back through memory lane and kind of think about all the things that have come out and how the program's progressed, and just kind of take a real objective look and just see kind of how things were. But yeah, like I said, hit up the comments. Let me know how you feel. That's all I have you for now. We'll see you next time.